Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Thursday, March 17th, 2022. Almost a full third of the way through this year already. And it is a beautiful day in Georgia. Let me just tell you that. A little chilly this morning, warmed up quick. It's about 70 degrees, sun is shining. Can't ask for anything better. Very happy to have the weather like this right now. I know, and of course, as we go forward in the year, it'll get hotter and all that sort of thing. But right now, the weather is just perfect. At least for doing outside labor and chores and stuff like that. May not be the perfect weather for like going boating or something, unless you're not swimming. Maybe just comfortable. But anyway, it's just nice weather. And I want to say Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. It is this is as close to green as I'm going to get. I don't really have any other. I have my old beat up green hat here that I wear when I'm chopping at stuff. So anyway, close as I can get. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Other than that, it's been a pretty good day today in the shop as I'm working on the Camaro and chopping off more metal. The last couple days I wasn't able to do anything. I'm just, let's just say I had, so today is Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. I had an outpatient procedure, and that kind of knocked me down. So I wasn't able to do anything Tuesday and Wednesday. Not much of anything, and just kind of had to take it easy, relax. But today, all better, all good. So let's see who's here. And if you're new here, by the way, we focus on classic cars, 50s, 60s, 70s. We try to talk about anything: Mustangs, Camaros, Mopars, Studebakers, Corvairs, Ramblers. Doesn't matter. So if you're interested in bringing something up to talk about, by all means, ask your question. Good questions get a good bell. Good answers also get a bell, whether it's me or somebody else. But let's see who's here. So right off the top, we have Ron checking in. Hey, Barry, happy St. Patrick's Day from Tri-Cities in Northeast Tennessee. Glad you're here, Ron. You get the first person bell for being here. Steve checking in. Steve's Money Pit. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you, Barry, and all the rest that give a thumbs up. I don't see a lot of Camaro. It must be a magic trick. Yeah, it's slowly disappearing. Crash Rider, greetings from warm and sunny Southern Indiana. Be sure to hit the like button to show Joe Daddy some love. Yes, thank you. Give you a bell for that. Robert checking in. Afternoon all. Glad you're here, Robert. Jerry checking in from the Money Pit in Middle Tennessee. And Jack W. checking in from New Jersey. Glad you're here, Jack. Troy. Hi, Barry and gang. It's beautiful, sunny 73 in coastal Georgia. I see parts have been removed from old basket case. Yes. Yeah, and it's continuing. And what's been interesting, I know some people have asked me, how does it compare to a Mustang? And honestly, I think the Mustang is a bit simpler. It really is. The panels that they have holding all of this together, there's so many overlaps and it's just more complicated. Even like the rocker panels are more complicated. How they kind of weave in between other panels, so it's a little more challenging. And I've never dug this deep into a Camaro. Mustangs, yeah, but this is a little more effort is required on this side. So, but it's good. I'm really enjoying it. Terry, afternoon, Barry and all. Please hit the thumbs up and like button. Yes, thank you, Terry. Whoops. Jerry, Barry, I received the right side single design engine apron. I have fitted it and have some problems. I don't expect the right side for about 3 weeks. And he says, I also noticed the left side doesn't fit the core support the way it should. Thoughts? Should I wait for the right side before welding? I would wait for the other side to show up, just to do a comparison. Make sure the lengths are the same. Obviously I don't know what's causing or what is, what's wrong. But yeah, wait for the other side to show up and do a comparison on those. Dawn, hello. Let's see. Dawn, hello again from Hawaii. Even though I'm here. Not a day goes by I don't think about the car. Well, that's pretty sad, Dawn. You should be in Hawaii just enjoying yourself and not thinking about Betsy. That's not how it works. You should just be chilling out, enjoying your time there. Rick, hi all, rainy day here in New Jersey. Looking forward to an hour without any frustration. Well, let's hope we can give it to you. Charlie, greetings to all from rainy eastern Pennsylvania. Glad you're here, Charlie. Jerry's asking Dawn, what is the rust treatment you use? So if Dawn can give an answer, that would be great. Mason, meant to say, hey, Joe Dad's Garage, how's it going? Autocorrect wanted to ask you, Joe Dad's Garage, do you have any little signs you can send me for my grandpa's garage? No, don't think I do. Sorry. Mason, love those Joe Dad's Garage hats. Need to work on saving more money so I can get me one. Yep. RJ, my daughter's 11 years old. Today, a bell for her. Sure. Wait. There, I gave her 11. At least I hope that was 11. Mason, want to tell you to Dad's Garage, one of my buddies has a Plymouth Duster. It's got a 318 engine in it, and it moves too. It's got a 4-wheel Harley on it with headers and MagnaFlow exhaust. It's loud. Cool. That's pretty cool. Plymouth Duster. Yep. That was the first car that I ever drove on the road, even though I wasn't licensed. A Duster. It was a gold Duster, in fact. It had the special stickers on it. It said Gold Duster. That was the first car I drove, like, on the road when I was like, 14, maybe 15. I don't know. Well, I didn't have my license, I can tell you that. Jewel, what do you do about VIN number on body? Depends on which vehicle. Like the Camaro, the VIN number is located on the dash panel. So really, there's a new dash panel and it's riveted. Now you're supposed to have the special rivets, but if let's say you had one of these cars and the dash panel rusted out, there's only so much you can do. Like if you wanted to cut out that little piece that had the VIN number so you could keep the rivets and weld it back into that and put it back in place, you could do that. But this car also, GM does it differently than Ford. In case of the Camaro, there's VIN numbers that are stamped into the firewall too. From what I understand, if you were to remove the airbox, there's actually a partial VIN stamped inside of the airbox. I did see another number somewhere else. So there's some correlation there that makes it tie together. I have a friend who has he's got a Camaro. Well, he thinks he has a Camaro, but he doesn't. He doesn't have a Camaro. He has a Camaro. He has a body with a Camaro VIN number. What it really means is he has a Firebird. So somebody has taken a Firebird body and put the Camaro VIN on it and sold it as a Camaro, which he found out much later. He has nothing he can do about it at this point. But I'm just saying there's some crossover. So like the Mustang, you got the VIN on the apron. That's it. You got the left side apron and the right side apron. That's pretty much it. And then the little tag on the door, but that's simple enough. Lots of times people would buy cars, may have gone to a junkyard and had a wrecked car or damaged door, just bought another door and put it on. They didn't even look at the VIN the tag on the trim tag. They just swapped it and went with it. So there's a lot of cars out there that have misleading information on them. In fact, the Jade car that I had, the green 68, I still have, when I took it apart, I discovered there was a VIN number on the left front apron. Now that car must have been in a wreck or something, and somebody salvaged the apron from another car and put it on the 68. Well, what they did is they just filled it over with body filler. They didn't even try to change it. They just filled it over. And so when I was digging into it, I found that VIN number, and I knew that wasn't the right VIN number for the car because the 68 also has a VIN number up here on the firewall, up on the windshield opening. So there's a lot of things that involve the VIN number. some of these cars, like, Jerry's talking about replacing the aprons. Well, the challenge is, what do you do with that VIN number that's stamped in the apron? In most cases, you cut it out, match it to where it goes in the car, and weld it back in and blend it smooth. That's really all you can do. I mean, there's, people talk about, it's not the right way to do it, or that's they could say, hey, well, you could just put a VIN number on a whole different car. Well, that's true, but the reality is, if you've got a smashed front end and that's your only location for the VIN, there's really not many options. Just really not many options. I don't know if that answers your question exactly, but just some information there. Robert is talking to Jerry and says the one-piece panel still needs a lot of fitting, unfortunately. So there you go. There's some information from Robert. Dawn, hey Jerry, I've been using OSFO, purchased from Ace Hardware. Okay, there's your answer to Jerry. Mason, what year was the Ford Galaxy you had? The one I drove when I was a teenager, it was a 62 Galaxy 500. Two-door hardtop. Dawn, I use it to etch bare metal too. Okay, talking about the OSFO. Greg's Workshop checking in. Hi, Greg. Hope all is well in Australia. Mason saying hi to Greg. And Mason, my grandpa, has been looking at getting some little signs to hang up in his garage. He's going to make his garage into a detail shop when he retires. Yeah, the best place to find that stuff, honestly, is like Hobby Lobby. There's a bunch of stuff at Hobby Lobby that you can, pick up pretty reasonable. Some of these signs came from like Hobby Lobby. Some of them came from Summit Racing. They sell this stuff all the time. That's pretty much where I've gotten all of mine. And some others I've just kind of had people give them to me. I don't even remember some of them. Mason, was your Ford Galaxy a 4-speed manual? No, it was a 3-speed on a column. 3-speed manual, but it was on a column. So, but it was a fun car to drive. It was a fun car to drive. Jewel, yes, thank you. I can move forward with my project. Good. James, does Jade have title? My 67 has a field find and no title, but Georgia don't require title to register after a certain date. I want to say 82. Yeah, I think it's 25 years. Whatever year your car is, if it's 25 years or older, Georgia does not require a title. And no, I do not have a title for Jade. I do not. I have a bill of sale for that car, and that's it. And the 67, I actually have a title for it. And the other 68, I have a bill of sale for it as well. So that's where that stands. I think like this Camaro is a bill of sale car. There's no title for this one. And like I said, in Georgia, doesn't really matter. They don't. In fact, I've talked about this before. I had a 69 Camaro that I bought from Arizona. And the car was rust-free. That's what the hood is. It hangs in the back of my shop. So it was, Hugger orange, black stripes, all that. I went to register it at the DMV, and I said, here's the title. And they said, oh, we don't need a title. And I said, oh, no. I have a title. I want the title. I said, oh, no, we don't have to do that anymore. They were trying to talk me out of it. I said, no. I said, this car needs to have a title. If I ever want to sell it out of state, it needs to have a title. And they were like, well, it really doesn't matter. I said, I don't care. I'm going to pay the price, whatever it is. Here's my money. Process it. Make it right. And so that's what they did. But it was kind of a fight, and it was weird. They were just kind of didn't want to do the paperwork. And, the title is a valuable piece. If you want to sell to some state that requires a title, it's better to have one than be having to deal with a bill of sale and fight with that later. Jerry, I'm thinking to mount the VIN number by a surface spot weld the VIN number to the apron. I mean, you could do that. It'll be on top of your apron, and I mean, you could do that. It's up to you. I know whenever we had the body shop, and we would swap out a door on, let's say, a modern vehicle. What they required us to do was we had to cut out the VIN number from the door with a sticker. You know, it had a sticker that if you ever tore it apart, it would just destroy itself. We had to cut that out and then put it in the glove box. That was a requirement. So with your car, because here's the thing, if you put the VIN number on, it's gonna be, in just my opinion, a little bit like sticking out. You know, a little. I don't want to use the word necessarily tacky, but it's gonna stick out a little, like it's out of place. So if you do that, I wouldn't, but it would be out of place. If you want to cut it out of the original apron, put it in the glove box, that's another thing. Or, like I said, cut out the square, carefully weld it in, blend it smooth, and make it look like it was part of the car. That's how I normally approach it. Mason, what did the Galaxy have for an engine? It was a 292 V8. 292. And Mason, your 69 Camaro, you had it. No, it was a 350 automatic. It was just a regular Camaro. It had the Z28 or the SS style package on it, but it was just a V8 car, 350 automatic. But it did have factory air conditioning, so that was kind of a bonus on that. Marshall, I can speak from recent experience in Georgia. My car is a bill of sale. I pulled it out of a field, and last registration was 81. Had to have a copy. Had to have a cop come to the house to run the VIN. Went smooth and quick. Yep. Yeah, I did that with the 55 Chevy. My 55 Chevy, I had the VIN number verified that it was a good VIN, and not a problem. But in most cases, I don't, if you pulled it out of a field and you had a registration, if you have a bill of sale from the previous owner, they'll take that when you go in. Simone, good evening, everyone. Glad you're here. James, you can get a title through Vermont, but must transfer to a state that will take a Vermont title. So my aunt in Michigan will get a Vermont title, then I can use a Michigan title to get one in Georgia. Yeah, interesting. I knew Vermont, they call it the Vermont loophole. So I knew that much, but I didn't know Georgia they won't take a Vermont title. Is that what you're saying? Because that would seem odd. Why would they not take a Vermont title? That seems odd. But I guess maybe it depends on the year. So I haven't seen that before. But I have heard of the Vermont loophole. Rick saying hello, everyone. Glad you're here, Rick. Ray Buckman, good afternoon, everyone. Glad you're here. And Dave Conville checking in. Glad you're here, Dave. Mason's Joday's Garage. Remember Edelbrock? I'm wearing my hat that says Edelbrock. Yeah, of course. Yep. I've got at least one Edelbrock sticker up on my door, along with a bunch of other stickers. A bunch of other stickers. So anyway, as I was talking about the Camaro, I'm digging into it. And I'm realizing, my plan is going to work that I have in mind, but the approach has to be slightly different. Like the Mustang, if you look at the A-pillar of the Mustang, you've got this box, and you've got your mount plates for your doors. And we know, I think anybody who's pulled doors off of a Mustang realize those little plates, they can fall out. Like you could reach up in there and pull them out. There's just like a 3-sided box that you can put them in. So when you're doing the Mustang, that A-pillar is just a box. That's it. Well, then you have on the Mustang, you have the inner panel, which is like your kick panel, as we call it, your toe kick area. And then you go into your firewall and, of course, your cowl up on top. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. The Camaro, you have the A-pillar that has the main structure. And then you have a big internal plate that holds the door. There's 2 of those. And then you have another plate inside of that creates your kick panel. And when you go forward, you go into a chamber. Like it's an air box on the side of the car. This right here. This chamber. So on the back side, it's flat, and on the front side, it's flat, except for this one has the fan unit here for the heater core. Um, but you have this chamber, and inside of that is your vent, for your kick panel. And so all this stuff here, there's like the inner cowl, and then there's another piece underneath that, and then another piece underneath that, and then the A pillar comes up and becomes part of the whole windshield frame. And so as I'm cutting this thing down, I'm having to take some time and realize I can't go this direction or that direction and trim these things down. When I was working on the rocker panel, I discovered there's an internal brace in the rocker panel. It's like a C channel. Not it's all the way in the back though. It's like that long, and thankfully, well, it has to come out anyway. But when I was cutting with a plasma cutter, I didn't see that, and there's just multiple things. So like on the driver's side, when I take out this A pillar, I'm going to be joining this seam right here. There's the air box and then the inner piece, and so I have to separate all of that away from the air box and leave the air box because I don't want to take all that apart. So I'm kind of doing a hybrid metal transfer. Like I'm taking out as much as I need to or have to in order to get the other piece into the car. In fact, today I will probably have to stop doing what I'm doing because I want to get a video out tomorrow, and it's going to take me hours and hours to cut all these spot welds because on the other side of the car where the rocker panels, pinch welds, because I'm separating the outer rocker from the inner rocker, all those spot welds on the top and the bottom and everywhere else that interact all have to come apart. So I'm not going to sit here and just film me breaking spot welds for hours. But I need to get all that apart, and then I need to take apart the new panel that's over there on the other side. I need to remove the inner rocker from that and some of the internal bracing that is going to be left off so that it can interact with this part. It's kind of a mix of what I'm doing, but I think it's going to work out just fine. It's just that, the time, break stuff loose, cut things off, it's all good. James, Georgia won't take Vermont because Vermont don't issue titles. They only have registration form, but accept it in a few states to convert to title. Oh, okay. Okay. And James, you have to pay 6% tax on a Kelley Blue Book value using the average value. So if Kelley Blue Book says $59,000, you're paying about $3,000, but worth it to get a title. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I did not realize that. Now, I wonder if, so in that case, you're talking about you get the title made in Michigan, and then you're going to pay the tax on the Blue Book value. Is that what it is? Because Georgia, I mean, the way they value stuff is really weird. New cars are highly, super high value. You take an old vehicle and the tax on it is next to nothing because they don't value it. So I don't know. That's good information though, James. I haven't looked into it that hard. I feel like I'm probably not going to pursue getting a Vermont title or registration just because I don't think I'm going to need it. But that's good information to have. Good information. So, let's see. Vermont pay Blue Book tax. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I it's an easy way for them to make money, isn't it? They just cash it in. Then transfer to Michigan. Yeah. Well, I guess that's a good way for Vermont to make some money. They can just process it, get the $3,000 or whatever, and they just filled up their little government tank a little bit, didn't they? Yeah. Let me think what else. There was something else I was going to mention. I was looking at the Camaro again. And I have, like over here, I have the roof panel. So I have the full roof panel. And there's also, with the roof panel kit, it came with drip rails, which is cool. And you look at the comparison between the Mustang drip rails and then like the Camaro. The Camaro, if you go back to the 65 and 6 Mustang, I'm not sure about 67, how that's configured. I think on the for the fastbacks, you can buy the drip rail. They sell it, but of course the coupes, they don't sell that drip rail. But the Camaro, it's sandwiched in between the roof and the main structure. So like if you look at the side there, up here on top, there that shape, you have to put the drip rail on first, and then put the roof on top of that. So it's like, this is kind of like the 65 and 6 design, which is not a big deal. But the nice part about it is it allows me to make sure the shape is correct. I can set that drip rail up there. And also the piece right here on the A-pillar. This is a separate piece. So you look at the Mustangs, especially the 67, 68, the drip rail is all one piece from starting in the back or front to back. This one, it's actually got a brake seam right here. So when you put the new piece on, you just kind of butt it up to this, and that gives you your shape. Just some odd type of things between the different types of vehicles that I'm noting right now. There we go. Wally, sorry I'm late to the show. Ontario also uses appraised value for tax when buying a classic car. So even if you pay below market value, tax is assessed. Yeah. And you say on Red Book? I'm not familiar with Red Book. Here we have Blue Book, the Blue Book value. So I don't know if there's something different with Canada or not. I don't know. And again, what's crazy about the way Georgia does it? Let's say you have a 69 Corvette or something, and it's ZL1 or whatever the magic number is, combination. It might be worth a ton of money, but they look at it and they go, "Oh, the tax on it is $20 or something." At least for the ad valorem tax, that we pay every year for our tags. Like my 68 GMC out here, I pay $20 for the sticker on that thing. That's it. $20. Get my sticker. So there's a lot of variables in each state how they handle the tags and the taxes. Ralph Burrows, I'm late but made it. Good. Glad you're here, Ralph. And Simone, do you have a goal for the build area as in time scale? That's a good question. Let me give you a bell for that. I can't say that I have a specific time frame in mind. I'm visualizing, like, next week, I hope to have the whole side, if not on the car, but ready to go on the car. The whole side. And so if I can accomplish that, that's going to take, this part is going to be the biggest constraint, is that side. So moving from that point, then I have to, put the quarters in place and get the roof on and that sort of thing. I haven't really thought about it very much. I know we're past the middle of March, so if I can stay motivated and put the time into it, I'd like to have all the sheet metal done by the beginning of May, and I think that's reasonable. I would like to have all the sheet metal in place, and we'll see. I mean, there's things in life that slow you down. Like I said, I had something done a couple of days ago, and I couldn't do anything out here. I just had to sit down and relax and not participate. And hopefully there's no more of that. But yeah, I would hope hope that by beginning of May that I can have most of all the sheet metal done. Hopefully. Wally, yes, Canada always different. We have a Canadian red book. Oh, interesting. I guess it goes with the flag, right? James, before Christmas to have sold to have a great Christmas. Well, yeah. I want to have it done well before Christmas. Um, if I can get it where I want it by the middle of the year, I'd be much happier. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I want to. I've got to really focus on what needs to happen. You know, and that side over there is going to take the bulk of my time because I'm learning how it's constructed and how I have to deconstruct it. The rest of it's all been cut off, so it's a matter of fitting pieces back on and lining things up. So that part will be a lot easier. Greg's Workshop checking in. Hi everyone. Glad you're here, Greg. Simone says hi, Greg. Okay, Troy. Every time I break into a car, I find more than I anticipated. I'm sure it works the same for you. In most cases, yes. This car here, though, there's really not much more to break into. there's not much left. When you really look at it, everything's been cut out and removed, and so I'm almost starting at zero. But yeah, usually you find a lot more stuff. Ray, yes, they charge us road bridge taxes. When I registered a 70 Corvette, it cost me $700. Heck, they even charged me road and bridge tax in Colorado on my mobile home. It hasn't moved since the 60s. Yeah. Nice of them to do that. We have a camper set up over at at a lake in Alabama, and the first year I registered it to get a tag and had insurance on it, and they wanted to charge me some ridiculous number for the taxes. And I was like, where's this number coming from? And I said, I showed them, what was it? I sent them either a fax or something with the documentation because they were going to charge me some ridiculous number. And I said, no. That's not going to happen. And they rescinded that. Once I showed them the documentation, they were like, oh, yeah, it's only $100 instead of $800, whatever it was. Well, the reality is I don't plan to move that thing anywhere. So like last year, I said, I'm not paying another tag fee on it. It's not moving. So I didn't. And I probably won't this year either. It's just not necessary. Paul, good evening. I thought I was late, but you were early. Was out in the garage. Sorry. Well, I'm not really any earlier than we always do this at Thursday at 3. And that may be changing. Just give everybody a heads up. I'm not sure if I'll be able to continue doing this probably next month or not. We'll see. Monday nights are still going to stay the same, but I may have to adjust the schedule on the Thursday thing. Brian, hello to all. Hope you're doing well. Filled my Ranger yesterday, almost $60. Remember, it's only a 15-gallon tank. Yeah. Well, my little Honda Fit's only 9 gallons, and I forget it cost me 30 some bucks to fill it up. Yeah. Greg, Barry, I've been in bed with a bad back for 5 days. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Greg. I am sorry to hear that. My wife had some problems with her back, to where she couldn't hardly sleep. She couldn't do much of anything, and it really came down to picking up our grandson all the time. She had just been picking him up and picking him up and picking him up, and it strained her back. And I see that Jack says, Greg, get yourself an inversion table. I haven't had trouble since I got mine. Other than some chiropractic adjustments my wife had made, I got her one of those inversion tables. It fixed her up. So I'll give you a bell for that, Jack. Yep. It works for her. Robert is saying gas is $3.79 a gallon here. And Ray is saying $4. Yeah, it's currently $4.17 here locally to me. Now, if you go to the next town up, for me, like more towards the interstate, it's probably closer to $5 a gallon because, hey, why not? They're just going to ring people up. But come over, closer where I'm at, it's, right currently 417. James, government will always find ways to get money. For example, my lawn guy raised the lawn cutting from 50 to 60 and won't accept Venmo, only cash since the government wants to tax anything over $600. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, then you need to tell them if you're going to pay cash, then it should be $50, right? If you want to have it on, if he wants it some other way, if he accepts cash, then it should be $50 for cash. Just saying. I'm sure he won't go for it, but it's like when I use PayPal. If you get something sent to you, you can send it as to a friend, and they won't charge you anything. But if you do it as a payment to somebody, just like, even if you just send somebody some money, you don't announce it as like to a friend, then they take a cut of it. So Simone says $2 a liter near London now. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about that being like $8-9 a gallon. Paul says $1.70 a liter here. Crazy prices. Yeah. And James says $10 extra for gas prices. Yeah. I don't know if that would be, I don't know how big your lawn is. Might be say, hey, I got the gas for you. Here you go. I guess it depends on the size of the lawn. Frank, $5.75 a gallon here. Ooh, where is that at, Frank? Where is that? Simone, I remember back in 06, it was around 75 cents a liter. Pence, yeah. Yeah, the market's been all over the place as far as, numbers. We've seen it, but right now it's just not good. James says, but gas in North Georgia went from $4.19 to $3.99 today. Well, that's a plus. Yeah. We'll be happy to pay $4 a gallon. Yeah. It's going to come back down. And once we start getting everything, I don't know. Let's hope we can get back to oil independence again. James, 1 acre. Okay. Yeah, it's funny, James, in talking about that, he talking about lessons in economics, in whenever people do these sort of things. I had a young friend. He was my son's age, and he was working for this guy who he was excited to get paid like $7 an hour or something like that, and he was doing all kinds of manual labor. He was mowing yard. Like, he would go mow a yard for this guy would tell him to go mow this guy's yard, weed eat it, get it all done. I'll pay you $7 an hour. He was like, okay. So he was using his truck, driving the equipment over there, doing all the work, and it might take 2 hours or an hour, whatever it was. And he said, I said, okay, so you're making $7 an hour, so you got paid $14 for 2 hours of work. He said, yeah. He said, that's pretty good. I said, well, is it? I said, is it? I said, what is the other guy charging? The guy, what is your boss charging the other guy? And he said, I don't know, $50. I said, okay. Think about that a minute. So you're working for $7 an hour for this guy who's getting $50 for your time and paying you $14. So how much money is he making off of you doing the work? And he was like, oh, I don't know, $36. What? I said, yeah. You're being treated like dirt. I said, if you ever do a job like that, I said, don't charge by the hour. You tell the person you're doing the yard for, if you want to start doing it, you tell them it's $50, right? I said, and then if it takes you an hour to do it, minus your costs, of course, gas or whatever, if it takes you an hour to do it, it's $50, not $7. And he saw these like boop, 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 lights popping in his head. He was like, man, That's not fair. And I said, well, that's how it works. And I said, and your boss isn't going to tell you that. Your boss isn't going to help you out. He's happy to pay you $7 an hour when he's making more than double just by you going and doing it. He was like, oh, let me think about that some more. So it was kind of funny. Dawn says 556 here in Hawaii. Wow. Frank, unfortunately in California, diesel in some places here is $7.88 a gallon. Well, the fix. We just all buy electric vehicles. That's all. That's all you have to do. We all just go buy electric vehicles. Whoever the whoever the jerk was that was telling us, Pete Buttigieg or whatever his name is, just go buy an electric car. Just go buy an electric car. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine if the entire, let's just say United States, if everybody just went, okay, I'm going to buy an electric car, we wouldn't get anywhere. We wouldn't get anywhere. The power grid wouldn't handle it. We don't make enough electricity to power the cars and vehicles and all that stuff. It would be insane. But that's what he's saying. Go buy an electric car. You don't have to worry about gas anymore. Power still has to come from somewhere. It doesn't magically appear, You don't just reach out to your wall socket and plug it in and go, oh, here, free power. Look, oh, there it is. There it is. It has to get there somehow. Rick, gas prices will come down in November right before the election. Well, let's hope everybody's paying attention and knows where to vote now. Simone, I do hope it comes back down. I have a big car show at 10 in July. Yeah. I mean, it's going to come down. They're going to have to do something, at least here in the States, I know, to address it because just all kinds of bad ideas, bad decisions we've had from our administration. Ralph, same here in Central Virginia, $3.99 a gallon. We're being conditioned to higher prices. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Greg, we pay $2.19 a liter here. That's $10.95 for a gallon. Not good. Yeah. Wow. You got to limit where you're going, that's for sure. At that price. Wow. Paul, if only it was that simple. Everyone is being sold a white elephant with electric cars, in my opinion. I agree. I mean, I get it. There are places to have an electric vehicle, but there's no way our grid system, our power plants, everything could supply enough energy to keep all that stuff working. There's no way. Robert, so we all go to electric cars that weigh 2 to 3 times what a gas car does and does 2 to 3 times as much damage to the road, but electric cars don't pay road taxes since they don't buy gas. Yeah. Well, and, if you really dig into it, you realize that the carbon footprint made by an electric vehicle is bigger than any gas vehicle that's produced, if you really dig into it. James, sure, Pete B, I'll go buy a $70,000 EV and wait 9 months to get computer chips to build it. Tesla has a 9-month waiting list now. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy that they would even consider that people were going to go out and buy a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 electric vehicle. No. Terry, will be a cold day in blank before I buy a electric car. Yeah. I mean, there are places for them. I'm not against having electric cars, but you're not going to get the entire society to go electric. It's just not going to happen. Just no way. Could you imagine all the semi-trucks on the road today if they were powered by electric? How much energy it would take to keep those things moving on a daily basis? You may as well just shut down everything. It's like in California, they're asking people to not charge their electric vehicles because the power grid can't handle it. That's just in California. Just in California. Please don't charge your vehicles because we can't supply power. Paul, we don't have the electrical infrastructure for every house to have a charge point outside. That's true too. That's another valid point. There's just no way. No way. Marshall, with that much demand, the price of electricity will increase to never before seen levels. Accurate. Accurate. Yeah. I mean, what kind of strain would we put on our energy systems? Um, let's say, oh, build more nuclear power plants. Sure, sure, sure. Uh, Hydroelectric. Sure. The big windmills that it costs more to make than what they ever get out of them. You know, it, it's just it's just crazy. Paul, cobalt mining on the seabed for the batteries. Check out the video on YouTube. Yep. Oh yeah, they don't. They're destroying the ocean and everything. Rick, only feasible place for electric cars on a golf course. Well, in the community near me, there's a community near me that was built, purposely built, to have electric carts. Like you can go to every gas station or grocery store, you can go to every restaurant, you can go to any part of that community. You can look it up, Peachtree City, Georgia. If you look up Peachtree City, Georgia, it is built, purposely built to have. It has cart paths everywhere. You know, and it's fine. That's fine. It's a golf cart. It works. James, I'm going Jed Clampett. Going to go shoot food and find a building crude, make my own gas. Yeah. Give you a bell for that. Robert, we would have 3 to 4 more semis on the road since their load capacity is so low because of the heavy batteries. That is a valid point too. People don't think about that. Dawn, I don't agree. Electric is way more efficient and less pollution. My electric bill only went up 25% and includes all my driving. That may be. But if you really look it up, Dawn, you say it's way more efficient and less pollution. Where are they getting the power to power the electric vehicle? Where is that coming from? And your electric bill only went up 25%, includes all of your driving. And I don't know what you're driving. If it's I don't know what electric vehicle you have. But the carbon footprint that it takes to make the batteries for that vehicle. I've read analysis that said, let's say this new Tesla, whatever the thing is, and they said, oh, that gets so much miles to a charge and blah blah blah, and they were saying that if you had like a full size truck, over the lifetime of the vehicles, even though the truck is going to continue to create emissions, the carbon footprint of the two is actually greater for the electric vehicle because it builds it all up front, and then of course you add in all the infrastructure to build the power plants, electric and charging and all that sort of thing. That the truck actually has a lower carbon footprint. That's what I've read. Troy, they don't go as far as a gas car, and it takes 30 minutes to charge them if you can make it 30 minutes. I think it takes longer than 30 minutes to charge them. Bucks Woodshop, nitrogen fuel should be added to the mix. Okay. Or hydrogen. Yeah. Wait a minute. Simone, I honestly think hydrogen is the next best option, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I've heard good things about hydrogen. Yeah, and Buck saying hydrogen, yes. Rick, I had a cousin that lived in Peachtree City, Georgia. She loved her golf cart. Yeah, and it works great. It works great for them because they don't have to drive cars all over the place. James, Nikola Tesla used the 369 formula to generate free energy. I'm not familiar with the 369 formula, but there's probably ways to like you're saying, there's probably ways to make it happen. Greg's Workshop, Barry, you can't go anywhere. Oh, talking about because of the price of gas, yeah. Paul, I've heard the same, Simone. Yep. And James, technology for free energy has been suppressed for decades because of no way to monetize it. I've seen some videos of some pretty impressive machinery that, like you said, creates energy. And whether real or not, which I believe there is some things out there that do work, they don't want that exposed. They don't want people having that. They do not want people having that. Ralph, CNG, another option. Yeah, compressed natural gas. There's plenty of that out there. plenty of compressed natural gas. Or natural gas, I should say. Paul, the problem with hydrogen is it's pretty volatile. Yeah, that's what I hear. Apparently. Yeah. Yeah, I know they have to they're talking about having, a special, some sort of special containment for it and whatever. Um, I don't know. It's really tough to have there's no easy answer. There's no easy answer. Um, we know that what we call fossil fuels um, has been the standby forever. And there's been people that have made improvements for fuel efficiency and different things. And whether some of that has been suppressed or taken away or whatever, I mean, like I said, there's a place for electric vehicles. There is. But not everybody can have an electric vehicle. It just won't happen. And Robert, there's also an issue with shipping electric cars as they suspect the latest car ferry fire was caused by a lithium car battery that is going to vastly increase the cost of shipping. That is true too. Good point. And Paul, walking is the easy answer. Yeah, sure it is. It is. So is bicycling. We don't do enough of that anymore. I'm sure they do out in Portland. I think it's a big thing out there with bikes and stuff. But I was riding. I have some road bikes that I was riding, and I won't ride on the road though. I'll ride in like subdivisions, or I'll use the road to get from one subdivision to the next, or the sidewalk. I don't want to ride on the road. We've had too many people just get wiped out from, riding a bike on the road. Let's see. Family budget garage. They don't climb the hills in West Virginia. Okay. Terry, I had chili last night, plenty of natural gas, but it won't get me down the road. No. Dawn, power comes from hydro. Electric vehicle is 2 times less carbon. Those studies you quote don't consider how long the carbon to extract, refine, and deliver oil, and having to protect the oil supply. Well, that is true. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider for sure. A lot of things to consider. Kenny, hey Barry, just wanted to stop by and support the channel. Love from the Woods family. Glad you're here, Kenny. Hope all is well with you. How did you find me? You just happened to stumble across the live stream today? Just checking in? James, my friend is a firefighter. If you crash an electric car and it catches fire, they can't get you out because it will charge the water and kill you. So fire or electrocution is your only choice. Well, that's kind of an interesting thought too. I mean, it's scary. And we have seen fires from like the Teslas and stuff, and they don't put them out. They can't put them out. They have to have special chemicals and stuff. Ray, propane isn't the answer. It was costing me almost $600 a month to heat and cook during the winter. I started using electric for heat and saving money. Problem is there's no simple solutions at this time. That is true. That is very true. I can tell you that our electric bill, due to some, let's say, some error by somebody in the house, we ended up having a variable rate on our gas. That was not good. That was not good. It went up tremendously. So, not good. Kenny says, yep. And Kenny been subbing and following for a couple years now. Okay, awesome, Kenny. I hope all's going well with you and your family. Robert, in my opinion, the solution is a combination of all the solutions out there as they all have their place. Well, yeah, and that's pretty much where we're at. We can have some electric vehicles, we can have gas, we can have diesel, we can have propane. There's just a whole bunch of different things but we can't all jump from gas to electric. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Kenny, been thinking about starting an overland diesel truck build when truck prices come down and starting my own channel soon for some cross-country adventures. That sounds cool. That sounds cool, Kenny. me see if I can. I've got somebody trying to contact me. Okay, so I think I have Robert trying to contact me. Um, he was wanting to get on the live stream with us, and this show's about to end, so we're not going to be able to get far. But I think for Robert, if you want to join, if you want to be part of the conversation, you have to have a sign in on YouTube. So if you want to leave a comment or something like that, you're going to have to leave a comment. You're going to have to create a user for YouTube. I think that's where your restrictions are. Dawn, beach is calling. Got to go. Yes, by all means, Dawn. Glad you were here. JRA, wood fireplaces, solar panels, go to off-gridding. Yeah, off-gridding would be awesome. I mean, for me, like, I'm okay with not having much of a house. I mean, I want to have a garage, obviously, but a house, it doesn't have to be, it could be the size of my garage. I'd be happy. But, of course, my wife is not going to feel that way. Now, if you want to go off grid, you can't have a big house. You're going to have something small, efficient, really think it through and make it work. I've been following some people guys on TikTok. They've got 100 acres of land. They're farming it. They've got their own power supply, their own water supply. They're off the grid and loving it. Now, it takes work. It's not like you're just going to show up there and say, oh, here I am off the grid. Nope. You got to maintain, keep things moving, recycle, all kinds of things involved with that. But yeah, I would like to be part of that. Cool Store. Hello from a sunny Friday morning in New Zealand. Over $3 a liter here for 95 octane. Stay safe, Barry. Ooh, that's expensive. Glad you were here, Cool Store. Family budget. All of our roads in our state is mountains. The Teslas here have to charge more often. They just can't keep going the same distance as gas. That's another valid point. People don't realize that. A lot of the testing that they've done on these electric vehicles is based on like flat land. They're not going to take them off into a mountain range and just be driving them up and down and see how far they go. Under ideal conditions, you can go 500 miles or whatever it is under ideal conditions. Yeah. If you only do 52 miles an hour and you don't do anything crazy, you don't turn on the air conditioning, whatever. I'm just saying there's lots of variables that can come into play with the electric vehicles. Crash Shredder, don't you imagine they had similar discussions back in the day when there was the horse and buggy versus the first automobiles? They did, but they probably didn't have it on the internet. Probably didn't have it on the internet. They wrote letters back and forth. They would write some letters and then send that off. What do you think about the horse and buggy? And then a week later, they'd get a letter back. I don't think it's ever going to work. Would have been much slower then. Rick Stevenson, an EV is fine if you do only drive in town. Try taking one cross country. Stop to recharge every 200 miles, 50 to 75 minutes to recharge. If you can find a supercharging terminal, it can take up to 15 hours. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be, there are places for them, but it's not necessarily on the highway all the time. Ralph Burrows, off-topic question, any solution to suicide steering column on the 65 to 66 tank? There are some things available for that. Now, I haven't researched like a regular. I know you can buy an updated steering box and then put in a safer steering column. From I Did It or something like that, you can put that in. But as far as keeping the original steering box, I think your choices are going to be converting it to electric steering, and that's where you basically cut the column off and insert the electric center, and then you have a drive unit to make it work. A lot of people are doing that now. I think Jerry did it on his car. So that would kind of create an area that would make a collapse point. The alternative, again, is to just swap over everything and put in a standard steering box and column. Crash Rider funny, yep. Kenny, if you like the off-grid stuff, you should see what people are doing with these overland trucks with solar dual battery setup. Super fun stuff. Yeah, I've seen some of that. I have. It's pretty interesting. Troy, this was fun, but I have to go. See you on Monday. Yes. And James says, Ralph, I guess convert to Borgeson steering that uses a breakaway coupler. There you go. And Robert saying, Ralph, my thought is a GM, I did a steering column and then put a collapsible shaft in. Yep, you could do that too. Okay, it's been an hour. I got things to do. I got more cutting to happen on this Camaro, get it whittled down to where I can start getting ready to put things back together. But it's been good. You know, I think on Monday night we had like 114 people at one point or something like that. Today we're about 47 to 50. That's cool. That's cool. And hopefully this trend continues. But I got to go. I got stuff to do, and I'm sure we all do as well. But I want to thank everybody for being here and participating. Questions and topics and subject matter, it's all been fantastic. And I'll be back on Monday night at 7, and we'll see how that goes. But that's going to be it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.